get going. We'll go ahead and get started with Jeff Ferrato from Cal Sports Report. Go ahead, Jeff.
Good morning, Peter. Wonder if you could talk a little bit about Marquez Bimage and what he brings, and especially given that you have been without Coin for a while, to have a veteran guy come in and be able to help out.
Yeah, it's been great to have him, join us as a graduate from UT. So, we really weren't exactly sure what his role was going to be as he joined us, but the way he's worked, the way he's really learned what we're doing here defensively, and then pairing that with some of his skills. He's a powerful guy, not an overly large guy, but he's powerful. He has some twitch when he's rushing the quarterback, and then he's gotten better. I think the more he's played, the more opportunities he's had in the defense. I think he's started to make some plays, and he was obviously a big part of that forced fumble. And that play was just a really nice physical play by him on the wind play of banging on the Y as he came back on the split zone and then getting up and tackling the ball. So it's been great to have him, and we'll continue to increase his role and get him there in the rotation.
Can you talk a little bit about just what kind of kid he is? We talked to him the other day. He seems very intelligent, really bright, and he never even been on the Cal campus, but he honed in on you guys and knew this was where he wanted to be, and then decided, I'm going to try play some more football too.
Yeah, he's from what he's shown us, he's a great young man, and he handles himself like a veteran, like a very mature guy, really very similar to the other guys that we have in the locker room. And he is soft spoken, but he does have a great smile, infectious personality, and he's been a great addition to the team.
Thanks.
Okay, we'll go to David Bush from Bear Insider.
Hi, Peter. Stanley left the game on Saturday, and we don't know how he is, what his status is for this week. So who's filling in there, and how did they do when he left?
Yeah, so we got a couple guys that he's continuing. I think Justin will touch on all the injury updates on those. But Jaden Roberts is getting an opportunity to play some nose. Ricky Correa will also get an opportunity to play that same type of position that Stanley was playing. So those two guys will be the guys that come in. Jaden, in limited reps, he's done some really nice things and playing that interior position. He's a very, very strong player. You've seen some disruptive pass rushes. You saw at TCU, he had a nice pass rush as a zero nose, and I think AB is doing a nice job of continuing to bring those guys along.
And do you have to change anything without Stanley, or do you pretty much run what you run?
Yeah, we'll continue to run what we run. The defensive line, there's a lot of guys that kind of are trained interior, playing some 4, playing some 0, and then our 4 down spacing can play some 3 and some G. So those guys, they dual learn. So we'll just continue the rotation, and it won't impact the spacings or the calls that we're going to call.
Thanks, Coach.
Okay, we'll go to Trace Travers. Go ahead, Trace.
Yeah, Coach, Washington State comes in. You guys didn't get to play them a year ago for various reasons, but you guys get a first look at an offense that I think both their slot receivers have over 20 receptions this year. What stands out about them?
Yeah, I think you're exactly right there, Trace. I think they're at 24 and 20 respectively. So, what kind of stands out to them is, it's it's kind of a weird ad. They do what they do. It's an opportunity, I think, for all of us to, there's a lot of subtle differences in the route concepts, and they do give you some significant subtleties in how they run their routes. But this is a team right now that is running the football quite a bit on what we call NDD, normal down and distances, which is second down, not in the red zone or coming out, but it's kind of that normal part of the field that even with, a 4 wide receiver look, you're getting a lot of inside zone, outside zone. You are getting a few gap schemes in that. And I think that's the biggest thing that, as you watch them, you have this mindset of what you are going to see. But when you start breaking it down, they are running the ball effectively. And I think they are committed to running the football as well.
Yeah, and it looks like they're going to get Borgie back this week, and they have McIntosh, their other back. What stands out about those two guys?
They've both been productive. You know, they've I think Max has some more opportunities, but you know, both of them have the opportunity. Like, you know, some of the outside zone, they can stretch the defense, they can outrun. You know, some of the pursuit inside, you know, they can press it outside of 5 technique and gain some yards. They're doing a good job of cleaning up the pass game in terms of some of their protection responsibilities. So they're both very talented, and you know, both of them are good, hard, physical runners with the ability to pop it outside and make it a foot race.
Yeah, and with Delora potentially back for them, how does he add to the calculus in the run game?
You know, he does, you know, there's some opportunities that he will have some designed runs. It looks like some of the read game, and, you know, it'll be interesting because we've had the opportunity to see 4 different quarterbacks in their offense this year, you know, so we'll have to see who ends up ultimately playing, what the health of that player is, and you know, probably be able to make some adjustments or status quo as we see who's playing.
Awesome. Thank you.
Okay, go back to David Bush, Barron Center.
Yeah, Coach, could you talk a little bit about Daniel Scott, the kind of year he's having, and how important he is to the secondary?
Daniel has been a core 4 player for us on special teams for years. He's getting his opportunity to become a core starter for us. He has, the things that have really shown out to me this year is he's had some really nice open field tackles. The TCU play, you know, he had some great open field tackles on that. I thought he had a really nice open field tackle on about I think it was about the 12, 13 yard line. Dylan Morris kept it on a 0. And he did a nice job of tracking him, and he looked in total control. He had a nice tackle on the 3rd, I believe it was 3rd and 15, kind of that same part of the field. We pressured, got the ball out, and he had a nice secure tackle on Redmond on a quick game. And then, you know, he's been active in the pass game in terms of covering some space, being where he needs to be in our zone concepts. And what you know, all players do as they continue to develop their role, it's always about the consistency of performance. And when he's good, he is a heck of a player. And like all of us, when we're a little bit off, we need to concentrate and make sure that we continue to work through our progressions and go through the techniques and the calls.
Okay, go to Tris Travers from Rivals.
Yeah, Coach, something I noticed during the Washington game, you guys maybe didn't have numbers on those little like swing screens out to the out to the slot guy on the outside. Is there something you can do schematically to do that, or do you not want to take numbers away from the inside, or how is that being shored up?
Yeah, there was one going away from our sidelines, the Husky sidelines. We did have, the numbers were appropriate. The safety came down and did a nice job of striking it. He just lost leverage on the ball. But in terms of those situations, we were in a single high coverage. And, you know, when we get the ball in the perimeter, single high coverage, I call it's a fair fight. It's a 3-on-3 fight. We have to be able to leverage the ball. The 2 other instances when you're talking about, the first one, I believe it was play 2 of the game. They did not end up throwing the ball in the perimeter. We had a miscommunication on who the appropriate blitzer was, so we could handle 3 horizontally, and they came back to it, I believe, play 8. And again, we had a miscommunication issue. There's 2 ways for us to play. We can leave that pressure on, and the interior player has to be able to adjust on the expansion of number 3 horizontally. We got to leave them from the box. So there's never going to be a call, Trace, that we don't have the appropriate numbers on the perimeter of the field. There'll be opportunities, you know, if we're in some version of middle open defense, you could see a 4-over-3 concept. But at worst, we should be a 3-over-3 in all of our single high or our man concepts. So losing that leverage was not a schematic choice. It was a miscommunication that we shored up.
Feel like I got a grad school class there, Coach. Thank you.
There you go.
Okay, guys, anybody with a final question for Coach? Okay, thanks